Good morning to all. This is KPH Nalini Kumari, PGT Botany from Prakasham district, Pullal Cheruvu. Today I will tell you about the fourth chapter, that is photosynthesis in higher plants. In this chapter, the topics comes under this chapter is what do we know, first topic, and second topic is early experiments, and third one is the what is the site of photosynthesis, and next one is how many pigments are involved in photosynthesis, and next topic is what is light reaction, and next topic is the electron transport. Next topic, where are the ATP and NADPH used? And another topic is the C4 pathway. Next one is photorespiration, and last topic is the what are the factors affecting in photosynthesis. So these are the topics comes under this photosynthesis in higher plants. Now I will explain the one by one topic. And now I will tell you about the first topic, that is what do we know? What do we know about photosynthesis and how this photosynthesis occur? To occur this photosynthesis, what we required? We required, that is chlorophyll and light and carbon dioxide. We already know about the chlorophyll. Where does this chlorophyll present? This chlorophyll is present in the green pigment of the leaf. So to occur photosynthesis, we required chlorophyll, light and carbon dioxide. To prove this, I will share some simple experiments to prove this photosynthesis. And for this, I have taken two leaves. That is, first one is the first leaf. It is a variegated leaf or leaf that was partially covered with black paper. So these two, among these two leaves, one leaf I exposed to light. On testing these leaves for starch, it was clear that photosynthesis occur only in green parts of the leaves in presence of light. So we prove that that photosynthesis occur only in green parts of leaves in presence of light. Another experiment I will explain, that it is a half leaf experiment. In this half leaf experiment, it is a leaf, it is enclosed in a test tube. We have taken a leaf and it is enclosed in a test tube containing some KOH. KOH, it means potassium hydroxide, which is soaked cotton. It absorbs the carbon dioxide while the other half of the leaf is exposed to air. This setup is then placed in light for some time. On testing this for starch, later in two halves of the leaf, you have found out that exposed part of the leaf, it is comes under the positive. It means for starch, while the other part of the leaf, which is in the test tube, it is negative. So this shows that carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. By this experiment, it is clearly observed that the leaf which is exposed to light, in that part only photosynthesis occurs. So by this experiment, we can show that carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. So where does this photosynthesis occurs? Usually this photosynthesis occurs in green parts of the plant. During this photosynthesis, it provides food to all, as well as it releases oxygen into the atmosphere. During this process, the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is taken by leaves through stomata. During this photosynthesis, plants use light energy and synthesis carbohydrates. So this is about the first topic. What do we know about the photosynthesis? And next one is the early experiments. In this, a simple experiments have been done to understand about the photosynthesis. Joseph Priestley, he was born in 1733. If you recall that Joseph Priestley, he discovered the oxygen in 1774. Joseph Priestley has been proved that plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen during photosynthesis, and he also performed several simple experiments that relieved the essential role of air in the growth of green plants. For that, he observed that if you see in these experiments, in this experiment, if you see, Presley observed that candle burn in a closed space. See in the first figure, that is candle is burning in a closed space. In that bell jar, a mouse is also there, and it is a closed space. He concluded that both the burning candle are animal that breathe air. But if you see in the C experiment and another experiment, he placed a mint plant also. In the same bell jar, he placed a milk plant, and he found that mouse is stayed alive and the candle continued to burn. So, by this, Priestley proved that plants restore the air, whatever breathing animals and burning candles remove. So, by this, he proved that plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen during photosynthesis. And next topic is the what is the site of photosynthesis. In the previous class, that means in the first year class, we have already studied about the structure of the chloroplast. And once again, I will repeat that here also it comes the structure of the chloroplast. Now, once again, I will tell about the structure of the chloroplast. Where does this chloroplast is present? This chloroplast is present in the mesophyll cells of the leaves, which are responsible for carbon dioxide fixation. Once again, I will repeat. This chloroplast is present in the mesophyll cells of leaves, which are responsible for carbon dioxide fixation. So, now I will tell that this is the diagrammatic representation of the chloroplast. See, this is the structure of the chloroplast. If you see this, these chloroplasts are the double membraned. These chloroplasts are double membrane, which is made up of phospholipids, and these are oval in shape or disc shaped organelles concerned with photosynthesis. This chloroplast is a double membrane which is made up of phospholipids, and these are oval or disc shaped concerned with photosynthesis. If you see inside this chloroplast, the granules are there. The granules, the thylakoids, they are arranged in stacks with the help. Why they arrange their stacks with the help? They arrange the stacks with the help, which help to trap sunlight and carries light reactions and help in the synthesis of ATP and NADPH. So, the fluid part in stroma which carries light independent reaction and produces sugar. In this chloroplast, the grana are interconnected by fret laminar connections. The stroma contains many enzymes, ribosomes, starch granules, liquid droplets that helps to carry on photosynthesis. So, inside this chloroplast, the granules thylakoids are arranged in stacks which help to trap sunlight and carries light reactions and helps in synthesis of ATP and NADPH. Inside this chloroplast, in stroma, the enzymatic reactions incorporate carbon dioxide into the plant, leading to the synthesis of sugar, which turns from starch. So the entire set of the reactions, they are directly light driven. So they are called as a light reactions. The later, they are not directly light driven, but they are dependent. So they are called by the dependent, means they are dependent on which products? ATP and NADPH. So by that they are called by the dark reactions. So here light reactions and dark reactions. Light reactions means the entire process is directly dependent on the light. So they are called as a light reactions. And here Dark reactions means it is not dependent on the light, but they are dependent on the products. Products means products of light reactions. The products of light reactions means ATP and NADPH. So by that they are called as a dark reactions. Once again I will show that the structure of the chloroplast. Once you note down that diagram of the chloroplast. See, these are the parts of the chloroplast. First, outer membrane, inner membrane, and inside this chloroplast, stromal lamella, and that inside under the stromal lamella, grana is present, and here inside that stroma is there. Under that grana, stroma is there, and these are the ribosomes and starch granules, and there are lipid droplets are there. So this is about the structure of the chloroplast. And next topic is the how many pigments are involved in photosynthesis. How many pigments are involved in photosynthesis? 4 pigments. What are those? Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophylls and carotenoids. Once again I will repeat. Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophylls and carotenoids. The chlorophyll A, they are bright or blue in color, and chlorophyll B, yellow green in color, and xanthophylls yellow in color, and carotenoids yellow or yellow to orange in color. So these are the 4 pigments present in the photosynthesis. Let us I will show that the various pigments, these various pigments present in the photosynthesis by graph. So these are the graph shown by the absorption spectrum of various pigments in photosynthesis. If you see in the first graph, absorption of light by chloroplast pigments. In the first graph, it is a graph showing the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A, B and carotenoids. And second graph, it is the rate of photosynthesis increased by the oxygen released. In the second graph, it is the rate of photosynthesis increased by the oxygen released. And if you see in the third graph, it is a graph showing action spectrum of photosynthesis on absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A. In the last graph, third graph, it is showing the action spectrum of photosynthesis on absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A. So these are the 3 various pigments present in the photosynthesis. Know about these pigments. These pigments are substances that have ability to absorb. These pigments it have ability to absorb light at a specific wavelength of chlorophyll A. And these pigments they have the ability to absorb the light at a specific wavelengths of the chlorophyll A. And this chlorophyll A, it is a chief pigment of photosynthesis. And this chlorophyll A, it is a chief pigment of photosynthesis which absorbs blue and red wavelengths. Which absorbs blue and red wavelengths? Chlorophyll A. This chlorophyll A, it is a chief pigment and it is absorbs blue and red wavelengths of light. And in this, it is shown by the graph measuring of amount of how much amount of oxygen is released. This amount of oxygen is released in I already shown in the graph 2. Graph B means it is showing the spectrum of photosynthesis. And maximum photosynthesis occurs in the blue. That means maximum photosynthesis occur in, where does this maximum photosynthesis occur? Chlorophyll A. And least in the green light, it means chlorophyll B. So maximum of photosynthesis occurs in chlorophyll A, and least it occurs in the chlorophyll B. Why this? It is because of the other accessory products. It is because of the other accessory products, that is chlorophyll B and carotenoids. It also absorb light and transfer to chlorophyll A. So they are not only absorb the wavelengths of light but also protect the chlorophyll A from photo oxidation. So By this, in this photosynthesis, where does this maximum of photosynthesis occur? In chlorophyll A, and least it occurs in the chlorophyll B. So in these pigments, these pigments, they have the ability to absorb the specific wavelengths of chlorophyll A, and these pigments, they have the ability to absorb the light and specific wavelengths of chlorophyll A. So this is about the pigments, where there is how many pigments are present in the photosynthesis. Now I will explain these graphs individually. So first graph, it is the graph showing the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A, B and the carotenoids. So this is the graph showing the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A, B and the carotenoids. In this graph, the rate of photosynthesis and the function of wavelength of light is called action spectrum. What is called action spectrum? The rate of photosynthesis and function of wavelength of light is called action spectrum. And in this graph, the rate of photosynthesis should be taken on x-axis and wavelength on y-axis. And in this, the action spectrum, it indicates wavelengths at which maximum photosynthesis occur in blue and red lights. Once again I will repeat. In this action spectrum, it indicates the wavelengths of at which maximum photosynthesis occurs in blue and red lights. And next graph, it is the graph showing action spectrum of photosynthesis. And this is second graph. In this second graph, the pigments are a substance that have an ability to absorb the light at specific wavelengths. In this second graph, the pigments are substance that have ability to absorb light and specific wavelengths. In this graph, the chlorophyll A pigment, it absorbs light of different wavelengths in the visible light, that is Vibrio. In this second graph, the chlorophyll A pigment, it absorbs light of different wavelengths in the visible light, that is Vibrio. So this is the second graph showing action spectrum of photosynthesis. And last one is the graph showing action spectrum of photosynthesis on absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A. In this graph, it shows that the most of the photosynthesis takes place in blue and red regions of the spectrum. So in this last graph, it shows that the photosynthesis takes place. Where does this photosynthesis take place? In the blue and red regions of the spectrum. Some photosynthesis does not take place at the other wave regions of the visible spectrum. In this, some photosynthesis, it does not take place at where the wavelength regions of the visible spectrum. This graph shows that there is complete one-to-one overlap between absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A and the action spectrum of photosynthesis. In this graphs, in the last graph, that is third graph, in this graphs, it shows that there is a complete one-to-one overlap between absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A and the action spectrum of the photosynthesis. So these are the three graphs present at various pigments in the photosynthesis. Now by this I completed the 4 topics of photosynthesis in higher plants. What are those 4 topics? What do we know? And early experiments. What is the site of photosynthesis? And how many pigments are involved in photosynthesis? Among these 4 topics, the questions comes in the public. That means in the exam point of view, what are the questions comes from these 4 topics? From these 4 topics, only 2 marks questions comes from in the chloroplast. Now I will tell these that 2 mark questions. From these 4 topics, what are the questions comes from the exam point of view? From these 4 topics, only 2 marks questions comes. That is, 2 marks questions are: name the process which takes place in the grana and stroma regions of chloroplast. Once again I will repeat. Name the process which takes place in grana and stroma regions of chloroplast. Light reaction occurs in grana of chloroplast and dark reaction occurs in stroma of chloroplast. Light reaction occurs in grana of chloroplast. Dark reaction occurs in stroma of chloroplast. Second question is, where does the photolysis of water occur? What is its significance? Photolysis of water occurs in grana of chloroplast. Photolysis of water occurs in grana of chloroplast. And what is its significance? During photolysis, oxygen is evolved and it is the main source of atmospheric oxygen. What is its significance? During photolysis, oxygen is evolved and it is the main source of atmospheric oxygen. Third question is, how many molecules of ATP and NADPH are needed to fix a molecule of carbon dioxide in C3 plants? Where does this process occurs? 3 molecules of ATP and 2 molecules of NADPH are required. This process occurs in the stroma of chloroplast. Where does this process occurs? This process occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. And next question is the fourth question. Distinguish between action spectrum and absorption spectrum. Action spectrum. It is the graph showing the rate of photosynthesis at different wavelengths. Action spectrum. It is the graph showing the rate of photosynthesis at different wavelengths. Absorption spectrum. It is the graph showing the absorption of light by pigments at different wavelengths. Absorption spectrum. It is the graph showing the absorption of light by pigments at different wavelengths. So these are the questions comes from the among these 4 topics only. These are the 2 marks questions. And in the next class I will explain remaining the topics.